Now I'm really seeing the rabbit hole fully. I'm going down it of the what appears to be a cult of people who believe that they're eating a carnivore diet. They're just, yeah, it's the perfect diet. Just put butter all over steak and live on that every day. And it's really clear. Uh, I mean, you shouldn't really have to think that hard to understand that these people are shills. The people selling you this diet are shills. Not only do they offer no legitimate research, admit that everything that they're talking about is anecdotal, and ultimately conveniently skip over every little bit of. I love this one. They grab a counterpoint. They're like, oh yeah, the vegans always say this, but we're just gonna skip over that. It's like you legitimately offered no counter argument. You provided no evidence. They do this in every single one of their fucking videos because they know that they're peddling a toxic, sick diet. And who, who, and why would they be shilling for what? Well, there's two. Um, okay, first of all, the richest industry in the world is the meat, dairy, and eggs industry. And if you don't think that they have a vested interest in uh, making vegans be quiet, or trying to paint veganism as some just just another option on the menu, you're an idiot. And furthermore, the meat and dairy and eggs industry aren't the only ones who want you to reject veganism. The big pharmacy and hospital um, uh, complex, hospital industrial complex, definitely want you to reject veganism because the more that you make your daily routine a butter slathered steak, the bigger paycheck they have to count on when they start selling you their cholesterol medicine uh, and doing their triple bypass when you're 50, 7 times for the rest of your life until you ultimately die at 61 or something like that. These industries are making massive profits from the suffering and death of animals, including you. And that's why there's such a massive pushback against veganism, because they don't want, I shouldn't say they don't want, they can't make money if you're healthy. They can't make money from you choosing a diet that is good for your health. They want you dying and suffering just like the other animals, and that's how they make their money. And it's because these people, probably who subscribe to the same philosophy that you do, of open, what's the word, libertarian sort of market mentalities. And I'm not against that either. I think that um, more or less supply uh, is there because of demand most of the time. But it's gone beyond just supply and demand now, and the market is more complicated than that, because with supply and demand, here's where there's no regulation. There's no regulation on propaganda. There's no regulation on they're not differentiating marketing from propaganda, and there should be a differentiation. There isn't in our current system, which is sadly for many of the meat eaters, what they will suffer and die quickly. Um, but at least they'll die sooner than later. I know that I'll be able to wait out the rest of you, and I'll still be talking when all of you have died. Uh, and that's great. It's great to know that we're going to live longer. Nonetheless, there's still this. I think that the industry. I'm not sure what to call it. Obviously, the meat, dairy, and eggs industry is big murder, or maybe big cruelty. I'm not, obviously, big pharma is what it is, but they're more like making dividends off the byproduct. Big pharma is they're not the direct makers of money from all of this. They're the indirect collectors of souls, due to the initial onslaught by big murder. And I mean, this is what neoliberalism looks like. It's when you're not merely dominating the market by way of fair output. You're controlling what people take, and so they're spreading misinformation through shills and convincing people that an all-meat diet is healthy to try to combat veganism, in addition to directly confronting veganism and vegans by painting them as ill-informed and other things. But yeah, I mean, this is really what we're looking at, is a giant industry of cruelty, amoral business titans who just care about making money and nothing else. They just, that's see, and that's the that's the sociopaths. The psychopaths enjoy the cruelty, and so yeah, that's the opponents of veganism. And I suppose you could say we're fighting over the souls of the sheep. It's the oldest story ever told. So yeah, remember, nothing tastes better than good karma. Nothing will taste worse than retribution for those who weaved none.